Hello, everyone. This is one of my babies. My other baby's over there. I'm Sandra, and I entered the world of direct sales when I was 3 years old. My mom entered direct sales, and we came from Mexico when I was 3 years old with my two older sisters. One of them is here today, and one of my business partners. My parents had lost their business in Mexico, and we had nothing. In fact, the first, I think, $50 they had, they bought a mattress set. My sisters and I slept on the mattress on the floor, and my parents slept on the box spring. And because my mom had a beautiful house in Mexico, we had nannies, housekeepers. She at least wanted her dream home. She wanted to live in a home. She didn't want to rent. But above all, she wanted to keep us in a safe neighborhood with like-minded people. And so she was a very, very stubborn woman, very persistent, which helped her in direct sales because her dream was to have that house. And unfortunately, with my dad's income, his income wasn't enough. And of course, he didn't want her to work. And so she says, well, the only solution is going to direct sales because I have flexibility. We don't have to leave the girls with nannies. And so that's what she did, and especially because there wasn't much opportunities for people who didn't speak the language. My mom didn't speak English. And so we went with her to her parties. Sometimes we'd be in the car with my dad for several hours while my mom did her party. We drove around with her, and my dad would kick and scream, and he didn't like it. But my mom always reminded him of the goal. We need to have our house. We need to have our daughters raised in a great neighborhood. And so my dad would shut up because my mom reminded him of the goal. And so 2 years later, after we had come to this country, they buy their house, their first home. Yay! And my mom didn't stop there. The family kept getting bigger. So we went from 3 kids to 10 kids.
Wow.
So you can't do it if you're working outside of the home, right? So I saw the homes upgraded. Every 2 to 5 years, they were being upgraded to the point where we had 6-7 bedroom homes. So the years pass, and I become a mom, and I enter the workforce, and it was extremely difficult. I suffered big time. I would cry multiple times at work because this little one was any daycare provider's worst nightmare. And my sister was one of them for like 2 days, and she says, no, you gotta come get your kid. And Tony over there, who's the best Avon man in the world, along with Carlos, of course. Yeah, he says, oh my gosh, I don't know. But Ivanna, she just, I'd be crying at work because nobody could put up with her for more than 2 days to a week, even if I paid them good money. So, seriously, yeah, not lying. So I just didn't know what to do. I was looking for answers. What can I do? What can I do? Because, she was just really difficult, unfortunately. So I...
But I was cute, huh?
Yes. She's adorable.
Made you laugh.
Yeah. At the same time, my job, it was very difficult. Taking the kids to the doctors when you needed to go, asking for time off, being able to take a vacation when you want to. And one of my passions was to travel. My parents, because we're such a large family, we only went to relatives, to visit relatives on vacation. So I had my goals to travel. And when my bosses would frown when I pick up my phone to call my family, or when I asked for time off, or Ivanna got an ear infection, or Bianca got an ear infection, and they gave me that look. One day I just said, that's it. I gave them a resignation, and then I started looking for answers again. Now what do I do? So my sister Celia, who's in the back, she had given up her very successful Avon business. To try other opportunities because, well, can I say this, Tony? Because her husband was more supportive of other opportunities than he was with her Avon business. And so I wanted my discount that she used to give me, so I joined Avon. And and I just loved it. I absolutely loved the support and everything. And then I had flashbacks of the goals my mom had of buying a home, and I wanted better and bigger things for me and my family. And so I got really engaged. I started learning from different testimonials and started applying things that I learned as a kid with my mom, and also through other representatives. And I also upgraded my homes. And by the time I had set a goal that every 5 years I was going to buy an additional property. And my first one was at 19 from learning from my mom and her drive. And every 5 years, I did buy that my husband and I bought that. And so by the time I was 35, I had 4 homes. Then traveling, I'll let Ivanna talk about her involvement in the business with Avon.
I always grew up with Avon. My Avon journey began when I was 4 years old, and that's when my mom enrolled as an Avon representative. And I remember growing up, she would always take us to market nights. She would pick us up from school with her big free Avon signs on the side of the car, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, like, can you pick us up down the street, please? Because I don't want, the other kids at school to think that, so we get embarrassed about that. And so I saw Avon more as a chore when I was a child. We would do the business as a family together, but only because my mom would set goals for us. She would say, oh, if we go out and find 5 people this week, we can go to the movies or go to Disneyland. And so we would go to parking lots, and my dad and my sister would go out to find people that would be possible prospects, and my mom and I would be at her van, and so they'd bring people to the car, and then we would talk to them about Avon. And I was always pretty knowledgeable about the products because I grew up using the products. So I would help my mom figuring out the difference between this bug guard and that bug guard. And so I enjoyed talking about the products, but I never really imagined myself doing this as a business. When I was 18, I started going to school in California, UC Riverside. And I wanted to become an artist. I wanted to work in movies, but my mom encouraged me to open up an Avon account. That way I can make some part-time income when I would be at home for the summer. So I would go to school, study. In the summers, I would work my Avon business and build my downline. By the time I got out of college and graduated, I still had 1 foot in the business and 1 foot out of the business. And my mom and I had a talk where she was asking me what I wanted to have in the future. And so she asked me, do you want kids? Do you want to have a family? Do you want to settle down? And I said, yes. And so she told me the importance of having something of your own, creating something of your own. And she told me her story of how she would cry endless nights because she couldn't be there for us when we were kids, that she would come home late at night. Me and my sister would want to play with my mom, and my mom would be too tired, and so she would just have a lot of guilt. And she said, I don't want you to feel guilty and put your kids through daycare. I want you to be a present parent, and you do not want to miss out on those moments, those really important moments that you can never have again. And so that was a really, a very eye-opening conversation that we had. And so that's when I decided to be more involved in the business. And that summer we got to go to Puerto Rico after I graduated college, and that was very, very motivating for me because I was surrounded by very successful Avon people, and my passion for Avon just grew from just using the product to starting to do leadership more seriously. And so I'm sorry, I'm nervous.
And I just want to talk to you a little bit about how we as a family would do dream boards. That is so powerful, and I know Milagros, that's a huge thing for her team and her family. We had, one of the first dream boards we did was, we had a 3-year plan, and there was about 4 things. One of the income properties was there, but where we were gonna go to travel, and we wanted to explore other countries. And so Ivanna's 15 años was coming up in a few years, and so I told her, you can pick wherever you want to go in this world, and we'll go there. And she chose Italy. And so I said, okay, you guys are gonna be part of you're not only part of the dream, you're also gonna be part of the work, you're gonna be part of the achievement. Okay, we're gonna do this together. And we did it. We went to Italy for 10 days. The following year, we got to go to Spain and Portugal, because they saw the power of how we work together. You know, after that dream, they were included in that dream. You know, the whole family did that dream together. I talk to representatives who sometimes don't share their dreams with their husbands and their kids. I say, that's a big boo-boo. You don't do that, because that's the way they're gonna get the support. And they won't buy in until you're including them. And you know, I remember back when I started out, my husband wasn't totally in with me either. You know, but he let me do my thing. And then one weekend when he was at home and we were supposed to do things, my neighbor calls from across the street and she says, oh, my mom and my sister are here in town. Can you come and show us some products? And so I go in, I spent an hour there, and I come back home. He goes, why were you gone so long? You just went across the street. And I said, yeah, but I sold $100. And he says, oh, and how much of that do you get to keep? I said, $40. So he started doing the math, and he says, okay, $40 an hour. At the time, he was getting paid like $18 an hour. And he says, so can you give me some of what you have? And he says, I'm gonna take those brochures to work. And we just happened to have the Michael Jordan campaign on the cover, campaign 13, 1997. And so that following day, Monday, he sold 8 Michael Jordan watches. So he was in when he saw the money. You know, he saw the money on a small scale. But then when I started earning trips, I made him a part of that. And he never complained after he joined me on the first trip. So definitely involved the family.
And another really important moment in both of our lives was this year in April. My grandmother, my mom's mom, had passed away, but the 4 months before that, my mom had to step away from the Avon business to take care of her. And so I had to run our office. I had to be there for her representatives and my representatives. And during her last few weeks, you know, it was getting worse. And so I also stepped aside because I wanted to be there during her last moments. And so, my mom and I were talking, and we were saying, you know, how fortunate are we to be in this business where we can actually step away from our work for 4 months to be there with our family, you know, for those important parts.
Yeah. So my mom, in her last few months, she wanted to go to Mexico to say her goodbyes and also to seek some treatment over there. And I have 10. There's 10 of us kids, and only Celia and my brother and sister were able to go, but the others, they suffered so much because they couldn't be with my mom in these last special months of her life. And you know, they were begging their employers to give them time off, and I was just so grateful, you know, for my Avon business that we as a family had built it up, and I could be there with my mom every second of every day, taking her to resorts so she could see the ocean for the last time. And it just meant the world to me. And my mom would be so proud now. You know, she passed a few months ago, but since her passing, she has her legacy continues on. Since her passing, 2 of her granddaughters have joined the business. Yay! Yeah, so that's my, you know, what I want to leave you with is, you know, make them a part of your business. They are a part of your life. Empower them under the umbrella of love. Work together and achieve together. And bring upon more great things for you and your family.
And sorry, I just want to end one thing. And if you are, in your 20s and you don't think Avon is cool, just really think about what you want in the future. Do you want to be working for someone else? Do you want to make, determine what your own future consists of? Or do you want to work for someone else? Because even if you go to school, do the American dream, nothing is guaranteed, especially with the recession that just happened. You can have all these promises, but really, you're the one that is going to determine your own future. So I would just think about that, and I couldn't have chosen a better career route, and I'm just really thankful that my mom persisted me to join the business. And even when I was whining and kicking and screaming and I don't want to do it, she reminded me of what I wanted for my own future. And so I'm really grateful that she made me do it.
and I in all fairness to Tony, my wonderful brother-in-law, who's here with his Avon family also, blood family, Avon family. He and my sister will tell you if you want to have any questions for them. He was the worst. He was the absolute worst of all the Avon husbands. Yes. He was. It was one trip that he went on, that my sister won, that changed it all. And he came back so fired up. He can tell you every cosmetic by name, by just looking at it in his hand. He knows the name of the cosmetic. He is so passionate about this business. He loves Avon. He works Avon 7 days a week, not because he has to, because he loves it. So whatever happened several years ago, if something's happening in your life right now where you're not getting that support, engage your husband. Don't share the negative, only share the positive.
All right. We want to thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.